Guardiola already said, Guardiola got it right. Um, one should not try to describe Messi, to write about Messi. One should just watch Messi, you know. And that's why I've never written anything about him, and to try to describe him or to justify how I see him as the best of all time. But since this is his 29th birthday, and I'm pretty certain he's going to be able to do the one thing he wants the most, that is to win a big title with Argentina. The final is coming 3 days from now. I'm doing this, you know, and when I first think, whenever I think about Messi, the first thing that comes to my mind, and people often forget, is the sacrifices he made when he was a teenager. Because he left Argentina, he went to Barcelona, just him and his father. Uh, he left his, I mean, he was a little kid, and he left his mother behind, and his brothers, and his little sister, and you know that he's in a new place without his family, only his father, and he was still doing the injections for his, growth hormone therapy, and I think that set his character for not only his career but for his life, because when you are that young and you have to deal with such change, such dramatic change, and everything is up to you. If Messi had said, "No, I want to go back to Argentina," and when you read the books, the good books about him, not the one Guilherme Ballack wrote, um, that came close. He had the bad times. He was sad, but he thrived, and he developed this responsibility, this dignity, this drive to win. That since he became a professional player, he had only used that to help him. So the first thing I would say about Messi is that he adds dignity to the pitch. I mean, he doesn't dive, he doesn't complain after being kicked time after time after time. He doesn't do Habanas or rainbow flicks when his team is winning. We have a player that does that, by the way. Only when you're winning, not when you're losing. Messi isn't arrogant. He doesn't do stuff on the pitch to prove that he is the best, because he could try the hardest dribbles you can think of, and he would put it off. But he just stops and sees what's the best thing. Is it a pass? Is it a dribble? Is it to, combine with some player to move ahead? So he isn't arrogant about what he does. And as Hernan Cacheri said, he's a dog. Messi is focused on the ball and on the play and on the game. He could, try to take shots from distance every single time, like one player we know of. And he could try to show off how good of a dribbler he is, like many players we know of. He doesn't. You know, he plays for the team. He even though someone like Diego Maradona has the nerve to say Messi isn't a leader, watch the Champions League final against Juventus. Remember when Suarez scored that goal from the rebound? How Juventus was dominating and Messi just got the ball, dribbled everyone, and took the shot that Buffon saved and Suarez scored. That's Messi, you know. And there are many players that they don't add dignity to a football pitch. Okay, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of them. Neymar is another. Because when you act arrogantly, when you try to show off that you can shoot from a certain distance or you can dribble with a habona or a rainbow flip or whatever, you just being an asshole. And Messi has never been that. Okay, I'm pretty certain that if Messi decided to start pulling off elasticos and rainbow flicks and step overs, he would be pretty the best at that too. But he doesn't, because he doesn't need to. And by doing that, he adds dignity to any game that you watch. Besides that, he's a family man. All he wants to do is just play, win, go back to his family, his two little kids, his gorgeous wife, and be cool. Drink his mate and play PlayStation all the time. That's his life. So he's really humble and the lowest profile star I've ever seen. The second thing I would talk about Messi is his poetic pragmatism. I like to say Messi is a pragmatic poet. Okay, because as I said, if you see Messi dribbles, you can see they're really like, I'm doing this because this is the way, the fastest, the easiest, the simplest way I can get past this guy. Because if he wanted to, he would pull the most amazing elasticos like Ronaldo Nazario did and Ronaldinho did, and sombreros and this kind of stuff. But he doesn't. He's pragmatic. He's a poet. He writes with his feet, but he's pragmatic about it. He doesn't show off. You and he always makes the most effective move. Okay, so as I said earlier, he could try to dribble everyone. He could try to shoot from distance. He could try to show he's the best player in the world, the best player of all time, but he doesn't. He shows he's the best team player you can think of, because if you see Messi playing, he gets the ball, he immediately is looking for his surroundings. Most of the times he'll pass the ball without looking, because he has players like Alves that now has left, and then like he had Xavi that now has left as well. And Messi's focus is on the team. He will always, if he has to dribble, it's because someone is near him, but he will think and give to the midfielder, or make his alley loop to the left side where the left back is, or whoever. And that shows how just he thinks. He doesn't try to show how good he is. He tries to show how good he is to the team and how much better he makes his teammates play. And there's a thing about Messi that people don't talk much, and that when Luis Suarez was signed in 2014, Messi had been asking for a 9 for quite a while now, because I don't know if you remember, but 12-13, Villa was already, beginning his descent, and he had been asking, he even said to the press, to say, hey, it'd be nice to play with a number 9 in front of me. And when Messi renewed his contract, it was a 9-month process that, Rosell before stepping down fucked him over, and then Bartomeu. When he did sit down to sign his renewal, the only thing he didn't ask for money. All the money he's getting it was a financial progression. He didn't sit down and ask for money. He asked for a competitive team, and that's why we saw Suarez, Rakitic, Ter Stegen, Bravo, and all the other guys that were signed, and we won a triple on the next season. We won the treble, and that's why when you talk about Messi, even though assholes like Maradona and even worse assholes that will agree with him say he isn't a team leader, he is. Because Messi noticed that in 11-12 he had a superb individual season. He scored 50 Liga goals, was great in the Champions League, but he only won the Copa del Rey. He lost La Liga and he lost the Champions League. In 12-13 he continued his immense scoring rate. That's when he closed his insane 2012 year with 91 goals and 73, Barcelona goals, and he only won a Liga. The trampling by Bayern happened, and then to top it off, Tata Martino came in. Messi had his worst professional career ever, and when he did sit down to renew his contract, as I just told you, he said, "No, I need a better attack, a better player with me, so that I can, it's useless for me to score as many goals if my team isn't win the trophies." And that's when Luis Suarez came on. And needless to say, especially if you watch the last 6 games this season, where we won both the league and the cup after really coming close to losing both, at least the league, it worked perfectly. Messi was, giving 8 assists or something like that in the last 6 matches, scoring goals, and Suarez was scoring most of the goals. And that shows and proves that he is a leader. He could have just asked for money. He would, still be playing as a false 9, still be scoring 60, 70 goals. Now he scored 50 goals and wins titles. Okay, so since Messi renewed his contract, asking for a competitive team, he has won every single trophy he played for. He competed. He only lost the Spanish Super Cup this year and the Champions League. That's 2 out of 9 possible, and he has reached all 3 finals he's played. He has reached all 3 finals in the 3 competitions he has played with Argentina. So World Cup, Copa America, and now this Copa America again. So He's in a leader. Okay. Um, Another thing that I like to say about Messi is after Xavi left, the season has been weird because not only has Messi has gotten more responsibility in the pitch, because now he has drops even deeper and he's more connected to the creative side of the team more often. The same happened with Iniesta and Busquets. If you see how they changed the game to accommodate the fact that Xavi isn't coming in even in the second half, that's another thing. Messi and the players around him, they do it in a way that they get the best that they can be to help the team. And that's you know Messi is a leader because Messi is the one player in the world that whenever he's playing, there is a certainty that he's going to deliver. Okay, and and that's why when I talk about recording this, I have to repeat a point that I made when I recorded the Messi against Cristiano Ronaldo thing, is that no player that I have witnessed, and I have been watching football for 23 years, has had as many moments when you watch him and you go, this guy's the best in the world. And I made the list. I'm gonna have to read this because if you just remember how many moments we have when you watch this guy and do these things live and we go, no one is better than him. And it's insane. For example, the guy scored a hat trick against Real Madrid when he was 19. Then he scored a wonder goal against Getafe, and that was only his 21st official goal in his career. I mean, think about it. It's a goal that most people rate that the best ever that he has scored. I myself don't think so. I think it's the one against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in the Champions League semifinal. But the 21st, he was 19, and then in the 8-9 season, he was great and scored goals at the 6-2 win at the Bernabeu. He scored a superb header at the Champions League final and had a great performance. 9-10 season, he scored that goal with his chest to win Barcelona the sixth title in 1 year, the Club World Cup. And then the 4 goals against Arsenal in the Champions League. I mean, those are moments that you won't forget. 10-11, the supreme performance of 5-0 against Real Madrid. He didn't even score goals. He just gave the assists, and you remember that. And then you have the 2 goals against the Bernabeu in the Champions League semi-finals, including the one I just mentioned where he dribbled past 4 players and finished with his right foot. And then his goal and his performance on the Champions League final at Wembley. We continue. 11-12 in the Spanish Super Cup against Real Madrid. He either scored or assisted every single goal. I mean, it was like the first 2 games of the season and he came back swinging. He came back like insane. Then he scored 5 goals against Leverkusen in the same season, and he reached 50 league goals, which is the record, and most likely won't see anyone, do the same, let alone surpass him. And then in the 12-13 season, we have that crazy Bilbao goal when he just came back from injury and dribbled everyone, and Hey Hudson went crazy. And the 2 goals against Milan, we lost 2-0 the first match, we won 4-0, and he scored the first 2. The first one was amazing. And then the 46 league goals. And the moment, that I like to remember, people may say that Messi isn't a leader. When when he came in against PSG, he was injured, and just the fact that he came in, PSG froze, and we scored, and we went to the semi-final. And that isn't a leader. 13-14 season, which is like his worst season that I can think of that we'll ever see. He still managed to score a hat trick at the Bernabeu, something that Cristiano Ronaldo has never done at a Clásico. He went to his home and did it, and we won. And leader. And then the World Cup path. Okay, I have to say it because it's not said enough. When Maradona won the World Cup in '86, even though everyone says that first World Cup that a player won by himself, Maradona was responsible for 73% of the goals. Okay, he either assisted or scored. It was like 5 goals and 5 assists. And he had Valdano and Burruchaga by his side. Messi was responsible for 88% of the goals Argentina scored in the 2014 World Cup. That's 7 out of 8. The only one he wasn't involved in was the third goal against Nigeria. It was a corner kick, like Lavezzi took it and Ho scored. And then people like Cristiano Ronaldo had the nerve to say he didn't deserve to be the World Cup MVP. Of course he did. But he didn't have anyone. Maria was injured, Higuain was Higuain, and Aguero didn't show up. He was injured too. So, yeah, no one's going to win the World Cup by himself. Just like Maradona didn't and Romario didn't. Because Romario had that battle as well. And after the World Cup, we have the treble winning season. Then you have his superb matches against City, and then his two great matches against Bayern. That goal that against Boateng, no one is going to forget. And then you have the superb, amazing Copa del Rey final goal against Bilbao, and then the goal he scored against Atletico Madrid to win La Liga, and his Juventus, the Berlin final when he was involved in all three goals he scored, and it's just insane. In this season, again, he was great against Athletic in the league. We lost to them in the Champions League. His superb goal in the Champions League against Roma, his first match back after 2 months being injured. It's a picture, it's a painting. And all assists he gave so we could win La Liga. And Messi is the unheard of. Messi is the impossible. Okay, and I've been seeing people on my Twitter feed going, yeah, Messi's 29, soon he's going to be 30, and he, is going to start scoring less and be more like a playmaker and whatever. No, don't worry about that. Okay, I had the same idea once. That's why I sat down and looked at every single prolific goal scorer of all time to see the difference between their scoring rates before they were 30 and after they were 30. Okay, and from that, I'm just gonna say a few names. For example, players that had scored more goals after their 30s than before: Romário, Larsson, Ibrahimovic, King, Del Piero, Drogba, Pizarro, Luca Toni, Francesco Totti, Di Natale, and Aritza Duriz. Okay, every single one of these players they have scored more than 200 goals in their career, and all of them scored more goals after their 30s than before. And then you have like superb players that had just a slim drop to their totals. For example, Gerd Müller only dropped 20%, Zico only dropped 28%, Original Ronaldo dropped 30%, Henry only dropped 20%, Raul only dropped 20%, David Villa only dropped 15%, Van Nistelrooy only dropped 20%, Eto'o only dropped 16%, Diego Forlan only dropped 20%, and Klose only dropped 13%. So if you take a look at it, most players either score more or just had a little drop in what they used to score when they were less than 30 years old. And Sarah, Sarah Cruijff, Sarah Stats, she's a PhD, doing doctorate in a PhD. She's a PhD in statistics, and with these numbers that I took from all the players and legendary players, she says there's an 86% chance that Messi will score 700 plus goals when he retires, 68% chance that he's gonna score 750 plus goals when he retires, and a 46% chance that Messi is gonna score over 800 goals before he retires. And so you want to keep saying that Messi is going to score less? Go ahead. But the math and looking at the other legendary players like him say otherwise. And to top it off, what I would like to say is Messi, you're probably not never gonna watch this, but happy birthday. And it's your 29th one, and I really hope that 3 days from now you get to win your 29th title, the title we've been waiting for. It's the big one with Argentina, it could be your 29th title in your 29th, 3 days after 29th birthday. And I think it would be just to keep your poetic pragmatism going on. And yeah, I mean, the thing about I started with a Guardiola quote, and I'm gonna finish with it. The thing about Messi is you don't need to write about him, you don't need to describe him, you don't even need to try. I don't need to do is watch. The thing is, I only recorded this because people don't seem to be able to watch how great this man is. and how amazing that side is, and their loss. It's their loss.